Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the final batch of silly season news here in the Career Mode. Breaking news, two announcements coming your way right here. The first one, Kyle Larson returning to the Cup Series. He has been reinstated and he'll be driving the 43 car next season for Richard Petty Motorsports. So a huge chance for Larson. I didn't feel like he deserved to be thrown right back into a top ride. I want him to work for it. So we're starting him in the 43 car. And next we have Eric Jones to Hendrick Motorsports. He's moving from the 73 car to the 88 car next season in the Career Mode. So very excited to see how Eric will do in the Cup Series in that number 88 car, transitioning from the 73, of course, which is being turned into the 23 car for the Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin team next season in our Career Mode. So Larson back in the Cup Series and Jones to the 88. Now you will definitely see some improvement in that 43 car because they have been making some changes on the R&D side in the Career Mode, so you should definitely start to see a bit stronger performance from that 43 car next season. So we come through though here into the weekend here for the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Very important races for both series here on the Xfinity side with Eric Jones in the car, but for myself in the Cup Series as well. We had a very rough day at Kansas in the last episode. We find ourselves now over 20 points below the cut line, and we come through into the Xfinity Series where Eric Jones, well, he's actually above the cut line right now, so he should be able to make the Final Four if he doesn't have any issues here. You saw he actually got his teammate Riley Herb sideways there through turns 3 and 4, but they would all keep going in the right direction now as Eric was on the outside of the 13 of Chad Fincham as he came through to cross the line heading down towards turns 1. So he was moving his way forwards here in Texas now. Texas usually a track that I myself have struggled at quite a bit in the past. We finished in the top 10 earlier this season, so that's a go here today. There's Chastain. He gets sideways there on the outside of Eric Jones. A little bit of contact between them as well as he came through out of turns 2, though, now to the inside of, I believe that was Ray Black Jr. He got to the inside of as he went down towards turn 3. So Eric continuing to move his way throughout the field now as he didn't quite get as far up as he was hoping he would now as he came through out of turns 4 now, or that was actually the 0 car that Eric passed now. So we came through, though, straight to the final lap, and he would not be able to get as far as we had hoped. He actually did not gain any more positions after passing that 0 car. So we come through half a lap to go here in Texas down into turns 3 behind Justin Allgaier. It's going to be a bit of a points hit, but will it be enough hopefully to keep Eric inside that Final Four now as we come through out of turns 4, coming through to the line behind the 7 of Justin Allgaier, the 8 of Hemrick just in front of Allgaier, but Eric comes through to cross the line. P12 here at Texas Motor Speedway's Austin Cindric picks up the victory over second place of Alex LeBay. So like I said, definitely a bit of a concern that's going to be a bit of a points hit for us, or at least for Eric, sorry, on the Xfinity side of things in Joe Gibbs Racing. So you're going to see the updated playoff grid very quickly here for the Xfinity Series. Eric is the last car in. It's a 3-way tie currently for the last spot in the playoffs or in the Final Four. So it's going to get interesting on the Xfinity side in the next episode at Martinsville. Now, as come through, though, to myself here, back with the DeWalt colors on the car once again. Here's come through to start our qualifying lap in Texas as we dive down into turns 1. A huge race for us. This race will determine our situation going into Martinsville. We could come out of here with a good run and find ourselves still within range of pointing our way in, or we could come out of here with a subpar run and find ourselves having to win our way in at Martinsville, which Martinsville, a track that if I have to win my way in, I'm still comfortable because I think we can win Martinsville. So we come through to cross the line with a 29.763 and we qualify P17. Not the qualifying effort we were looking for, and definitely going to set us up pretty rough to start this race now as you see the rest of the grid on your screen. Chase Elliott down there in P23. I'm really surprised. I actually did boost Chase Elliott's rating and he's still not doing that great. So I don't know if it's just bad luck or what, but I might have to boost it up even more at this point now. As I actually made it very similar to what Jimmy Johnson's is, and you see Johnson comfortably up inside the top 10 on a regular basis right now. Is on the pole. We got Matt Kenseth here in his final trip to Texas Motor Speedway. Of course, Kenseth, Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson all coming through to this track for the final times in their careers in this career mode. But you see the playoff grid coming into this race. Denny Hamlin, the best out of everybody right now, is only 13 points to the good. It's going to be really close. William Byron, over 60 points out. We're 25 points out. So Byron, unless he has an incredible race right here, he's going to have to win, of course. Even I'm looking at a must-win already. But if we can have a really good day here in Texas, we'll be in pretty good shape. Jimmy Johnson comes into this race 3 points out now. Is going to send it over, though, to our pit reporter of Andrew Wisdom.
Joe Gibbs Racing had a rough day at Kansas, setting them up uneasily for Texas. Gary Owen finds himself over 20 points below the cut line coming into today's race at a track he's struggled at in the past. He may need to already be looking at a must-win in Martinsville.
Alright guys, not the spot we want to be in, but hopefully we can make something out of it and maybe come out of here somehow close to that cut line. All right, there you hear the quick radio transmission from myself, but there you see on the screen stories of the race. Ryan Newman, Brad Keselowski, Timmy Hill all sent to the back, but most notably Keselowski, a playoff driver trying to make it into the Final Four. He failed technical inspection, so he's starting at the back. A huge hit for a driver like him who comes into this race with a good chance of being in that Final Four now, as we are though underway here at Texas Motor Speedway from the 15th starting position, up 2 spots due to Newman and Keselowski starting at the back now. So hopefully we can come out of here with some stage points in this first and opening stage, but I'm already seeing a lot of our competition, of course, up at the front of the field, like Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson, all those guys now as we come through out of turns 2. There you see Kevin Harvick, who has gone winless this season, but has just been consistent enough to just kind of claw his way through the playoffs and have a chance still at making it into the Final Four, but he is as well not in a great position like we are, so he might have to win as well as we come through out of turns 4 though, up 2 positions on this first and opening lap. Now as we're going to be aggressive right off the bat though, we need the points. We go 3 wide with Bell as well as Harvick as we dive down into turns 1, not the line I wanted into the corner there, so I kind of messed up my own turns 1, and we come through though out of turns 2. We're actually going to be able to get ahead of the 95 of Christopher Bell, and now get up the inside of Kevin Harvick as we dive down into turn 3, but he actually stays clear, but no, we get back up the inside of him. We would carry the momentum past him. We got to the back of Tyler Reddick down the front stretch. He got a little bit sideways as we were 3 wide with him and Bowman, but he would hang on to it as we went down into turns 1, but he goes sideways again in our mirror, and he saves it now as we're actually though up into the top 10 already here as we come through out of turns 2 right on the inside of the 88, but Kurt Busch takes us 3 wide. He saw the small gap there and went for it. Now as we come through down into turn 3, we slide in behind the Chip Ganassi driver who was recently eliminated from the playoffs here as we come through out of turns 4 side by side with Alex Bowman as we go down this front straightaway now, coming through to complete the second lap here, the third lap here in Texas, flying by very quick as we dive down into turns 1 of the inside now of Almirola as we try to take over that 9th position. Kyle Busch at this point though had the lead as we went down the back straightaway, as of course we're only got 2 points so far in the stage, and even with a 9th place finish in stage 1, we're still going to lose points to our competition. So that was a little bit concerning because we come through on lap 9 now of the stage, and I was actually losing time to the cars up ahead. Kevin Harvick had run me down, and I knew at this point I had nothing for him, so I let him go there as we come through turn 3. There's actually contact between myself and the 2014 Cup Series champion, but thankfully we hang on to it and keep going in the right direction. But then after that happened, the car actually started coming into my favor now as we came through on lap 12. Jimmy Johnson would take the lead. He's trying to get win number 4 on the season to put himself in the Final Four in his final season here on the career mode. As we dive down into turn 3, we started reeling in Harvick and Kansas, so it was pretty obvious that the car was definitely a long run car, so I was hoping it was going to stay green right to the end of the stage. But then Kyle Busch, he actually took the lead back from Jimmy Johnson as we came through turns 3 and out of turns 4, but then the caution comes out now, and that was not what I wanted to see, because it was pretty obvious if the green flag stayed out, we were looking really good. We were going to gain at least another 2, 3, maybe even 4 positions now. But everybody coming into the pit lane here, we're going to take 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires, and I was debating making potential adjustments to the car, but I decided to hold off on this pit stop at least and just get ready to go green for the restart here, as we do gain 1 spot over Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson goes from 2nd to 8th on the pit stop. A very rough stop for that 48 team. You cannot have pit stop errors at this time in the season now when the Final Four is on the line. As the green flag is back out, it will be 7 laps to go here in stage 1 as Kyle Busch is trying to, of course, get himself into that Final Four with a win here today. Martin Truex Jr. joined him on the front row for this restart as we come through turns 1 and 2. Now past the 48 of Johnson, right to the back of the 42 of Matt Kenseth, who was inside the top 16 playoff cutoff for most of the regular season, and then within the final handful of races of that regular season, it was just a massive downfall for that 42 team, and they eventually missed the playoffs. But here he is finally putting a race together so far, at least here today in Texas, as we're 3 wide there with Johnson and Blaney for a moment now. Keselowski takes them 3 wide, as this is all of a sudden a really rough moment for Jimmy Johnson. There's the 42 sideways through turns 1. He saves it, just a little bit of contact from myself there as we came through out of turn 2, and all of a sudden we're up to P6 at least after that contact happened with Matt Kenseth. Now as we came through to the end of lap 20 though, out of turns 4, I just got a little bit too tight and left the door wide open for Brad Keselowski, who started at the back of the field, and now he finds himself up in P6 as we dive down though into turn 3 on lap 22. Johnson starting to rally his way back forward. I decided to not hold him up too much as well because I just had nothing for him on the short run, and we come through out of turns 4, and now we're going to lose the spot as well to William Byron, so I slide down though right behind him in P9 with 3 laps to go in the stages. We're going to try and cross him over. over, get to that left rear nose. Thankfully, I thought he was going to go sideways, but he did not even just have anything go wrong. He actually got a boost of speed, but then we come through out of turns 2 with 2 to go in stage 1, and the same thing, I get too tight, leave the door open for Blaney. I let off the throttle intentionally so I can slide in behind him and hold on to that 10th spot. Harvick putting on the pressure from behind, but we come through to the final lap of this first and opening stage. Kyle Busch continuing to lead the way down the back straightaway into turn 3. Now, as I'm just trying to hold on to any point possible, so we dive down into turn 3, being defensive over Kevin Harvick. Now, Blaney looks to the inside of William Byron as they come through out of turns 4. Kyle Busch is going to hold off the field to win stage 1. We're going to come through to cross the line in P10 here in the first stage. And, you know, in the spring race, I would have been like, okay, P10, not bad at all. Well, this is not good at all for us right now. We lost points because of a 10th place in stage 1. So very unfortunate to see that happen now, as we would, of course, come to the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, as you see the rest of the order on your screen there. Down in last place is Cole Custer, who has DNF'd from this race. Now, as we were getting ready, like I said, to take 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, I did not make any adjustments again. Now, as we gain 1 spot on the pit lane again to get ready to go green from P9. So we're going to get a live look at the playoff leaderboard here in just a moment now, as the second stage is underway here at Texas Motor Speedway from the 9th position. Keselowski, Blaney on the road just in front of us now, as here comes your live look at the playoff situation. So we are now 29 points below the cut line. We lost points, like I said, and I mean, William Byron, he lost some points as well. We are considering him now in a must-win situation. I myself, realistically, we're already in a must-win. But if we can get some luck on our side, we might be able to still punch our way in now, as we're going to get aggressive there, go up the inside of Keselowski and Johnson 3 wide through turn 3. Johnson comes into the stage 2 points out below that cut line. Keselowski 2 points above. They're side by side right now with each other, going for that final spot right now in the final 4 as we come through, crossing the line, completing the first and opening lap of the second stage. But so definitely not the situation we want to be in. There was some contact with Keselowski. He went sideways behind us, and now he's going to lose a bunch of points, which is going to put Jimmy Johnson right now in the final 4 as we come through down the backstretch into turns 3. So then we come through on lap 3 though out of turn 2. Same situation with this short run car. It was just too tight on the exit of the corner, and I would end up giving up that spot to Kevin Harvick. So it was pretty obvious that at this point I might need to make an adjustment to the car, but it felt so good on the long run, so I didn't really want to mess with the car. So we were running P8 now as it came through on lap 7 of the second stage. Jimmy Johnson had worked his way up through into the front of the pack now as he came through, leading the way down the back straightaway on lap 7 of the second stage. So I'm just continuing to try and hold on to P8, but we came through on lap 10. Keselowski, he was starting to close the gap to myself as we went down into turns 1. Around this area is when I was expecting the long run part of the car to really start to kick in. So I was hoping that we just could keep it green a little bit longer and hold off this 2 car of Brad Keselowski as we go down this back straightaway into turn 3. But nope, there it is. The caution comes out now, and that is going to completely mess us over in the kind of point of view of hoping for that long run. So you see here, no one at this point coming to the pit lane, which I found very interesting. But you got Chris Buescher. Oh, we do have a few drivers. Stenhouse, Ross Chastain, they're coming into the pit lane, and as I scroll through the order, you see more drivers electing to come in, but Jimmy Johnson does not elect to come in. I decide we're going to pit, we're going to make a wedge adjustment here, and hope that maybe just a minor adjustment will help us. I only went down by 0.2, and hoping that it would benefit us here on this short run. So we dropped down to P31 for the restart, but I'm hopeful that with the slower traffic in front of us, we could still maybe get the best of these guys here in front of us in the playoff situation, and maybe we'll be able to get some points out of it versus them getting none at all. So we get back underway now with 11 laps to go here in the second stage, and with all those slower cars up front, we do have Jimmy Johnson though still leading the field, but there's a lot of slower traffic in front of us, and that is a huge opportunity for myself now as we come through out of turn 2. I felt like though staying out with those guys probably wasn't going to be the best option, but maybe looking back on it, it might have actually been even better now as we dive down towards turn 3 up the inside of Logano, and Kyle Busch now is going to be as aggressive as we can early on, going 3, maybe even 4 wide there with Truex for a moment now as we get up the inside of Eric Jones. His final few races of running in a back marker car now as we come through, crossing the line. 10 laps to go in stage 2 as we dive down towards turns 1, trying to get up the inside of that 00 of Quinn Houghton. We would sure enough climb our way forwards up inside the top 15 here with now 9 to go in the stage, and then we get up the inside of the 43 of Bubba Wallace, and we just continue moving forwards to the end of now lap 16, up the inside of Austin Dillon to the back of Matt DiBenedetto, and we pass Eric Almirola. We're now inside the top 10 as we come through down this front stretch. William Byron actually up inside the top 10 as well as we come through 8 to go in the stage as we pass Corey LaJoie down into turns 1. So we needed a little bit of luck to get some points on our side, and we have gotten that now, and hopefully this will really pay a difference now as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4. We run down Chase Elliott and Ryan Newman, who are battling side by side, and it's so easy to pass these guys because they're, of course, on older tires. So we blow right on by them, get to the back of William Byron now, who runs in that 5th position, and we're just going to go up the inside of him, and we're going to try and cruise by him as well here. And now here we are up inside the top 5 as we exit turn 2. He's going to battle back, of course, side by side down the straightaway. He wants every point he can get, even though he's really in a must-win. As we dive down into turn 3, Jimmie Johnson continues to drive away with the stage victory as we came through, though, to now lap 21, trying to run down the 42 of Matt Kenseth for that 4th position here, as every point is going to be so important at this point, but the caution comes out again. Stage 2 ends a few laps early. Jimmie Johnson with the stage victory, and we are going to now get P5, so 6 points at least will help us a little bit there. As you saw, Denny Hamlin actually did able to get some stage points, and so did Kevin Harvick, but Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, none of them did, so that definitely will help us in some way, and hopefully this will set us up well, though, for this 3rd and final stages. We're going to be up here in P5 as we're going to take 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires, of course, and get ready to go green from P4 as we did gain 1 spot on the pit lane. So now ready to go from the 2nd row, Jimmie Johnson, Kurt Busch on row number 1 as the green flag is out for the 3rd and final stage, and this is one of the longer final stages of the season, 32 laps, so we got plenty of time. As you see the playoff grid come back on your screen, Hamlin is 18 points above the line, Kyle Busch 12, but you see Jimmie Johnson now is 9 points above the cut line, but there we are. We only gained 1 point in stage 2. It was not as good as I thought it was going to be. We only gained 1 point, so now we are not really in good shape at all as we dive down into turn 3. There's the 4 is going to go sideways through turn 3. I came down on his right rear, but he saves it through turn 3 and 4, and we all keep it going, but now I'm going to cost myself some time, losing a spot to the 11, to the 95, to the 3, as well as the 43, and maybe even the 88 of Alex Bowman, who tries to go by on my outside as we dive down into turns 1. So Johnson even gives up the lead there as we come through the center of turns 1 and out of turns 2, but just not the situation we want to be in now as we come through out of the corner up the inside of the 43 of Bubba Wallace here as we dive down towards turn 3. So Johnson trying to regather the lead as Ryan Blaney holds on to that front position now. Nice to see him back out in front of the field after a bit of a struggle in the playoffs as we come through out of turns 4. Bubba Wallace and the 3 of Austin Dillon side by side as I get up the inside of Bubba there. I cut through the grass a little bit to make it happen, but we did make it happen as we dive down into the corner, and we're back up inside the top 10 here as we come through turns 1 and 2. Now as Truex has actually got a lot of speed on my outside, and he's going to be able to blow right on by me there as we hold on to that 9th position. And I see they're going 3 wide behind me. A lot of fast cars still coming behind us, but they got still stuck in traffic a little bit. But I get up the inside now of Christopher Bell on lap 57, and as we dive down into turns 3, we would pass him as Jimmie Johnson was now back out front at this point as we come through out of the corner. So now I was really just hoping that something was going to go wrong for one of our competitors because it just wasn't looking great. We come through on lap 59. I'm kind of all by myself at this point on the track, but then the caution comes out again here with 25 laps to go. I could not find any of the reasons for the cautions up to this point in the replay mode, unfortunately. But now this is once again going to force a restart on us. I thought about maybe pitting here, but I thought we would probably still actually be short on fuel, so I decided to not come in. You saw everybody out staying out, so I was like, okay, I guess we'll just stay out as well and see what happens here now as we're going to get ready to go green from the 8th position. Things aren't looking good, guys, I know, but I think we might have to try short pitting. That might be our only option now. There you heard the radio transmission from myself getting ready to go green for the restart now, which is now underway, but you heard from the radio transmission. I said we might have to try short pitting. That really might be our only option, assuming at least we're going to get a green flag pit stop as we go down towards turns 1. Jimmie Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch on the front row now because they're going 3 wide. Hamlin being very aggressive, looking to win his way in at Texas Motor Speedway into that Final 4, but Jimmie Johnson at a track that he has won so many races at in the past in his Cup Series career. Now, as we're going to get very aggressive, go 3 wide in between Blaney and Harvick. I forced Blaney down, but I did not care because I wanted everything I could get there. And sure enough, we make it work as we come through out of turns 4. Hamlin, Johnson, Kurt Busch, 1, 2, 3. Now Matt Kenseth in P4 as we're going to slide in right behind that 42 car in that 5th position, but we dive back up the inside. I use the draft to get right back to him and send it up his inside through turns 1 and turns 2, and we might even clear Kenseth. Yes, we do. We slide up now on the exit of the corner right in front of that 42 as I see the 19 of Truex closing in very quickly, and I realized I wasn't going to have much for him. We come through out of turns 2 on lap 65. Truex gets to my inside, but it's pretty evident that the car is feeling a lot better at this point because we're not just getting destroyed by these drivers at least yet as we dive down through turn 3, but we come through on lap 66. Truex now makes a pass on Kurt Busch. Johnson, he made a pass on Hamlin for the lead, but we come through on lap 67. I saw the traffic behind us closing in of our teammate Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick and whatnot, and I just had nothing for Kyle, so I say, okay, just go by on the inside here as we come through on lap 68. 17 laps to go as we dive down into turns 1, but I couldn't get the car to even turn down enough, so Harvick's going to be able to pass me as well, and here is when I decide, you know what, we're going to come in and try the short pit strategy to see what it will do for us. So we're going to come in about a handful of laps earlier or so, then the AI about maybe 5 or 6, I was thinking, as we dive down into turns 3. I let Logano have the outside, and now we come through making our green flag pit stop here at Texas Motor Speedway. The main goal is to not speed like Kansas, and we do get on the pit lane without speeding, so I decided we're going to take 2 tires and just a splash of fuel, so it's going to be about an 8.1 or so second pit stop there, as you see the pit crew putting on the right side tires, and as we come through, an 8.1 is exactly what it was, so we come through just hoping that it's going to stay green, because if a caution comes out now, well, it puts us in an even worse position. And we haven't even run that bad in this race. We've been in a top 10 for a good chunk of it, but just right now a top 10 isn't quite going to do it at this point in the playoffs. You got to be better than that, and we just haven't been in a position to perform well enough to be a Final Four contender now as we maybe thought we were. I knew this round was going to be tough. Kansas and Texas haven't treated me well in the past NASCAR Heat games, so that was a bit of a concern. Now it's come through to 13 laps ago, easily passing these guys, of course, now as they're on older tires. We only have 2 fresh tires, but you can see just 2 tires making a very large difference as we come through out of turn 2. So we're just waiting for the drivers to come into the pit lane, and sure enough, they would start to pit as we came through on lap 73. Jimmy Johnson, he had come into the pit lane from the lead. A bunch of drivers now on the pit lane as we come through out of turns 4. Now is really where we are going to see the difference that it will make. Where will we come out now as we come through turns 1 and 2? On lap 74, Austin Dillon goes crashing into the outside wall, and that's going to bring out a caution, and that completely ruins everything on that strategy for us, and we are the first car a lap down, so the one benefit is we get the lucky dog, but that completely ruins everything. Instead of being maybe even close to the lead after that cycle through because of the fresh tire advantage we had earlier, well, we're going to be at the very back of the field for what will be potentially this final restart here. And as usual, there you see next race, Martinsville Speedway, which now is looking like a must-win situation for us. Very unfortunately, not what I wanted to see, but maybe we can somehow salvage a bunch of points out of this finish here, but definitely setting up for what is going to be a wild final restart here at Texas Motor Speedway. Not the position we want to be in, of course, but we're going to make the best of what we can now. There you see we get the free pass. Brad Keselowski has DNF'd out of the race, so there is a playoff implication that will help us in some form at least. Now as we are, though, underway from the 37th position, the 62 of Brendan Gaughan, he doesn't go, so I just go to the inside there. I felt like that was granted because his car just did not go, so I did make a pass on him as we come through crossing the line. So not a lot of time left in this race as Jimmy Johnson leads the way through turns 1, and quite a mixed field because of when the caution came out. Johnson, he was already made his pit stop, so actually everything kind of worked out perfect for Jimmy Johnson now as we go down this backstretch into turn 3. So it plays right into his playing field because there's a lot of cars up there with him that are not as fast as him now. A lot of the faster cars are once again set back, which helps us, of course. It's come through out of turns 4, but Jimmy Johnson has been essentially handed the victory potentially, even though he was already one of the fastest cars. Hamlin was able to compete with him, but now there is no reason why Jimmy Johnson should lose this race. And now, of course, I'm being as aggressive as I can, making some very aggressive moves up the inside of Bowman, 3 wide there as we come through out of turn 2. But I see a lot of our playoff contenders, Logano, Kyle Busch, around here, Kevin Harvick, so I didn't lose quite all hope yet as we come through now passing Logano with 4 laps to go in the stage. We're up inside the top 20. We might even be able to get a top 10 out of this now as we dive down through turns 1. Sure enough, get up the inside of David Reagan, now into turn 3, approaching 2 laps to go, up the inside of Kevin Harvick, and here we are in a position to somehow rally back to a 10th place potential finish, maybe even better as we come through out of turns 4, right on the back of our teammate of Hamlin, who gets up the inside of Daniel Suarez. 2 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. Jimmy Johnson just hoping it stays green because the faster cars are approaching now, like Kyle Busch. Hamlin up to P8 as we're going to follow him through to the inside now of Tyler Reddick as we exit turns 2. No, we slide up right behind the 8, but he slows up behind the 16 of Haley, and we get up the inside of Reddick again as we dive down into turns 3. Now trying to just get towards maybe even a top 5 as we come through out of turns 4. Hamlin up to P6 as we come through down the front straightaway, approaching the final lap here on Texas Motor Speedway. Not the day we were looking for, but we still have a decent finish coming our way as we dive down into turns 1. Jimmy Johnson 3 wins on the season in his final season of the career mode, looking to make it 4 if he can hold on for another half a lap as we go down this backstretch. I'm looking for every single point that I can get, so I know into turn 3 I need to at least try something here. So I full send into the corner, not even letting off the throttle yet, but we now have to just kind of back out as we come through out of turns 4 side by side with Hamlin. He gets us, so Jimmy Johnson wins his way into the final 4 in his final season as we come through to cross the line for a 7th place finish here at Texas Motor Speedway's Truex, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Chris Buescher round out your top 5. Justin Haley even with a nice finish there of P11. Logano, though, rounds out the top 10. So a DNF for Brad Keselowski, a playoff driver. That's going to really put him in a bad situation. And, of course, we are definitely in a bad situation. We came into the final stage 28 points out. Well, we only gained 3 points in the final stage. Only 25 points below the cut line now, as we do have a post-race interview here to do with Jay Cook.
Well, Gary, another rough race, but you turned it into a top 10. Realistically, you will have to win at Martinsville. How do you plan to do that?
We're going to have to rough people up for sure, to say the least, Jay. It just wasn't a great day for us. Finished in the top 10. We ran top 10 a majority of the race, but it just wasn't good enough. 7th place wasn't good enough, Unfortunate. Solid day. It sucks that a solid day just didn't turn into anything. We'll do what we can in Martinsville. We're going to have to be aggressive. We're going to have to move some people and just hopefully come out of there with a win. Lap traffic usually will help us there, so hopefully we can come out of there with a victory and get into the final 4. All right, so there you heard the post-race interview between myself and Jay Cook. As always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. But the goal is obvious at Martinsville. Unless something crazy happens with a big contender DNFing, we will absolutely have to win our way in. If Logano DNFs, then it would change everything between myself and Harvick, but I highly doubt that will happen. So we do have to look at it as a must-win. So hopefully we can come out of Martinsville with the victory. We'll see what we can do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.